The three most common stitches on a serger are the 4-thread overlock, the 3-thread narrow overlock, and the rolled hem. On the Brother 1034D, it is super easy to switch from a 4-thread to a rolled hem stitch. Let's start with the settings of, first off, we need to remove the left needle. So I'm going to just snip the thread at the top of the needle and pull the thread out the serger. You definitely want to pull off the spool. Don't leave it up here, because if it stays up here and the threads are dangling, it finds its way in. Believe me, not worth the hassle. So if you're only using 3 threads, there should only be 3 spools on the top of the machine. Next, we're going to take out the left needle. So remember, when you loosen that screw, let the left needle drop out, and then keep the right needle in. Keep it as high up as it will go, and straight. Here we go, I kind of got it offset. Straight, and then gently tighten that. Make sure that needle's looking straight. Good. Okay, so we only use 3 threads. Next, we're going to go onto the inside of the serger. There is a finger down here that's really easy to remove. You see this little lever with the yellow arrow pointing into it? What you want to do is, in front of it, give this little lever a push, and what it does is it pops out that area. This whole piece is now loose. This finger here is what the stitches form over for the overlock. Well, without it, the stitches are going to fall or roll, and that's what gives us a rolled hem. So this needs to come out. On this serger, there is a perfect place to store it, right here in the door. Give it a little push, it'll snap into place, and then you'll always remember where it is. I think the hardest thing, or most common thing that we run into, is when you're done using your machine for a rolled hem, that this forgets to be put back in. Let me just show you right now how it goes in. You really just kind of set the finger up near where the needle is, and that little part that popped out, just line it up and give it a push in. Once it clicks in, it's in the right place. It just naturally goes back where it needs to be. So I do like that that's very simple. There's no guessing, and then just a push of the lever releases it. So I'm going to leave this here so I don't forget to put it back in when I'm done, and then find my stitching not being lined up very well. Okay, so that's all set. The other thing that we'll find ourselves doing is over here on this side is we're going to set our cutting width to R for rolled hem. That brings the knife inward. Plus, we're going to set our stitch length a little shorter, so I'm moving that to R as well. So the stitches are really close together, almost gives it a nice satin stitch look as we go to stitch. The last thing we adjust is actually tension. So to get the stitches to kind of pull to the back side and roll over, we're going to take the lower looper tension and go up a couple numbers. So if it's at 4, let's go all the way up to 7. Sometimes I'll loosen my upper looper. Now, speaking of upper looper, whatever color thread you have in your green tension dial, so mine is green, that's the color of thread that is going to show on the rolled hem. Now, you are going to see the needle thread as well. It's going really slow. I'm going to make the rolled hem not be so close together here. Find that happy medium here. I always recommend that you cut off just a little bit so you do find yourself getting a nice clean edge all the way through. Oh yeah, this is going to look really good. All right, and so you have a very delicate edge. Now whatever's in your needle is also going to show as a little straight stitch. But what we want is it to pull all the way to the back side and kind of tuck in on the back. So you can really see that that is working well, and it just puts a perfect rolled hem on any cut edge of fabric. Usually this is for lighter weight fabric. We're usually not doing it on a really thick fabric, so it's meant to be delicate or sheer. Now, if you're ever stitching along and you find that the rolled hem isn't attaching to the edge, it's like it's falling off every so often or pulling away from the edge, it just means that we move the cutting width too close to the edge. And if that's so, move the cutting width away from the needle just a little bit. Let it kind of grip on. It needs something more to grip onto. We just got too close. And so that will solve any of the rolled hem problems. If you didn't get it to roll enough, you can go ahead and go a little tighter, or even take this a little bit looser, which will then make this tighter as well.